I just want to show everybody a new find that I have here. It's went to the Goodwill this weekend, and I go there just about every weekend just to see what I can find down there, see if there's anything interesting. And I found an alcohol stove that reminded me a little bit of the Trangia, and I grabbed it because it was unusual. So this is my grease pot, and the reason I have this here, I'll show you, is for comparison in size. This is my stand for the grease pot. And as you can see, my grease pot fits right on top of that pretty perfectly. So, but what I found was at the Goodwill was this ginormous stove. And that's why I have such a big stand, so they can fit in there. Well, let me show you the stove first. This is very similar to a Trangia style stove. It didn't have a lid of any kind, but that's the stove. It is huge. It holds, I want to say 2 to 3, no, it held 4 ounces of fluid is what it held. And that's just to this fill line. I'm sure you can't see it, but the fill line is about halfway down the thing here, and it says fuel line is what it says in there. So I filled it to that fuel line, and it took 4 ounces of fuel. And that's half of one of my bottles of fuel, because those are 8-ounce bottles that I have there. And then I went ahead and lit it and set this on top of it with 2 cups of water and let it come to a boil. It took a little while to boil. It took 6 minutes, which is not bad for a stove. But it stayed lit at full flame for 1 hour. A whole hour. That is amazing to me. And that was the fill line it said here, which I think is because it's starting to hit here or something down there. I could have gone a little past that. But an hour of cook time without having to refill it, that is amazing. So I'm just going to show you real quick what the flame looks like. And sometimes it's hard to light these things because they're... Grab a little piece of paper here. They're so far down in there, and it's hard to get your flame down in there without sticking your hand all the way down in there. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and light it with that. Now, obviously, I'm going to turn my overhead light off so you can see the flame come up. It comes up pretty quick. We're still burning through the center, but the same as the Trangia, it has to heat up just a little bit. And this is not brass like the Trangia is, or a somewhat of a brass type metal. This is a stainless steel metal. So it takes a little longer to heat than I think a Trangia does, but there you can see it's already starting to bloom. And sometimes just a little bit of fanning it like that gets it to bloom a little faster. And there it started to bloom, and however it did die out this time. Now I don't have very much fuel in there this time. I put very little in there because once you put it in there, there's some kind of insulation in this outer compartment, so it tends to just suck up whatever you put in there, and you're not getting it back. But I'll put a little more in there. I don't want to put a whole 4 ounces in there because it can take that much if you let it. And a little dip on the side, so maybe that'll be enough to get it started again. There we go. It is a little harder to light, I've noticed, than you have to light it 1 or 2 times to get it going, because the stainless steel doesn't stay hot or doesn't get hot as quick as the copper or brass that the Trangia is made out of. So it starts out a little slow, but once it gets going, it has a really decent flame pattern. Very similar to the Trangia, maybe just a little less than the Trangia actually. I'm guessing this is for some kind of sterno type thing where you're heating up underneath of a pot. They all lit up. Now let's see if they'll stay lit this time. And no, not enough heat still. So, like I said, it takes about 2 or 3 times to get it lit. And once it gets lit and stays lit, stays hot enough to stay lit. So this would definitely not be a winter or outdoor stove. And as you can tell, it would light up and just burn itself back out. There is no priming section out here where you could put fuel to prime it, so that would not work. And as I said last time, I had a lot more fuel in there and it stayed lit a lot longer. You have to get that center to burn a little while before you get the outside to burn. And what happens is as soon as all the outside jets start up, they suck up all the oxygen from the inside, and the inside jet goes out. Therefore, your fuel is not staying. See there, it's lit already. And that fuel in the bottom will not get hot enough to boil. It needs to get to, I don't know, 100 and something degrees to start boiling in order to create the jets. But once it does get going here, and I think it is now, we'll see if it stays. And this is exactly what happened last time, although I think I only had to light it twice. My fuel in the center was almost halfway up that center tube, so there was definitely a center flame for much longer than there was this time. And this is exactly what it did last time. It stayed like this for about 2 minutes, and then it kicked into the larger jets, which we'll show you in a second here. They get up to about, well, let me not hold my finger over the fire, about in that range there. Now, at this point last time, I went ahead and put the pot of water on top of it, because there's no reason to waste your fuel. So I don't have water in here, but you know, you can see that it hits it. Well, maybe not because the camera's too high, but I can adjust that for you. Now you can see it. But it's not really growing to its full height yet, just a little bit higher than that. It'll get once it gets a full bloom. So, and obviously I don't want to be boiling a pot with no water in it. Let me take that back off there. I don't know if it's hot enough to even... Yeah, it's hot enough that I probably shouldn't touch it already. And I'll go ahead and take this off because we're really just looking at the stove right now. We're not looking at the... Now I fit that right around there, and that fits right inside my Kmart grease pot, of course. And then the stove will fit right inside that. So it's a nice little Kmart grease pot setup, as you can see. Works well with that type of setting. But as I mentioned earlier, this thing will burn for an hour on what is considered to be a full thing of fuel. The downside to it is that it's not really for camping, maybe car camping, but not really for backpacking, because there's no lid for this to seal it. There's no threads to screw on the top of it there. So it's pretty much fuel it and use it until it's out. Otherwise, you're stuck with a lot of fuel inside this chamber outside here, and could drip all over your pack or whatever, even though it's in some kind of insulation. And it's not light, obviously, but it would burn for an hour, so you could do a lot of cooking on something like this without having to refuel it. That's why I thought it was really cool, just that it's so large. So for a home stove, for emergency stove around the house, it is an excellent stove to have. I got this along with about 12 other little items, one being a milk crate, and just other goofy stuff, some ball bearings that I picked up, some camera, I'll show you real quick here, camera cases with the ball bearings I picked up, and about 10 other goofy things that I picked up at Goodwill, and I only got charged $2.37. So, I don't know, that makes this worth $2 and everything else with 37 cents, or, you know, whatever, however you work it out. They charged 39 cents a pound, and my whole bill came to $2.37 for all the junk that I picked up yesterday. One of the things I picked up was yesterday was this awesome set of D-rings. This was in my pile yesterday. That's all D-rings, and I'll just use those probably for hammock camping or something. Got all those. The carabiner I didn't get. I did get the key ring there, but the carabiner I already had. All those D-rings, that was part of my $2.37. And I can't remember what else kind of junk I picked up. Oh, I got one more thing I want to ask. Well, I have your all attention. I got this as well, and I'm not really sure what it is. It has the word Coleman on it. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. This is what I picked up, one of the items that I picked up with yesterday, and it says Coleman inside here. Man, that's shiny. It says Coleman inside there. And what happens is this is a carabiner for clipping onto something on top there. And then this is magnetic inside here, and it simply attaches to this piece of metal, the piece that says Coleman on it. And that's how I found it. I don't know what it does or what it's for, but you know, that's what it is. It's for hanging something, I imagine, but I'm not sure what. So if anybody knows what this is, let me know. I appreciate it. Thanks. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good day.